Well, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Happy April Fool's Day Eve is what I'll call it. I'm really glad that Tuesday didn't land on April 1st because I'm really gullible, and I know there's some people in our little Let's Talk Tuesday family who would have taken advantage of the fact that I'm very gullible and tried to pull a couple of fast ones on me. So you're not allowed to do that until tomorrow because it's April Fool's Day Eve, right? So maybe April Fool's Day Eve is the opposite of April Fool's Day. So tonight, you have to tell the truth. Everything has to be absolutely the truth, which it usually is. I try to tell you guys the truth, or the truth as I see it. Hi, Jenny. How are you? Hi, Allie. Good to see you. I did my Easter nails. Can you guys see? I don't know if you can see. I have little bunny rabbit on my East. There you go. And the flowers. So I'm ready for spring and Easter. Hi, William. Good to see you. Can't wait to talk to you tomorrow, by the way. And hi, Betty and Adam. Great to see you. Yes, Resurrection Sunday is coming. It's going to be Friday, but Sunday's coming. So happy to be with you tonight. Ask your questions. If you guys have any questions you've been wanting to ask. Oh, William, you know what? I will send you, I will send you a new link. William, I will do that. I will send you an email with the link. Okay. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to our meeting. William and I are doing a coaching tomorrow, a meeting tomorrow. So I can't wait to hear all of the updates. So yeah, if you guys have questions, please ask them. I'm not sure how late we'll go tonight. I was thinking I might try to finish a little earlier than I usually do tonight. So get your questions in the beginning if you can, so that I don't run out of time and I can answer all of your wonderful questions. But one of the first things that I do want to talk about is, and Diego can help me out on this because he has the code, but coming up very soon, ICFF, International Christian Film, it's actually technically Film and Music Festival, but International Christian Film Festival, there you go. And the dates are April 28th through May 2nd. And there's all kinds of speakers and events. I'll be doing a workshop plus being on the panel for those watching all of the monologues, and I'll just be there roaming the hallways doing what I do, which Diego affectionately calls Bevan. We've created a new word, and it's called Bevan, which means wandering through the halls, chatting with people, and having people behind you who are waiting for you, but you never make it to them because you're talking to all the other wonderful people that you see along the way. Diego's been in that position many times, but if you are one of the ones that I get to see and talk to along the way, then that's awesome. So yeah, if you're going to be there, make sure that we see each other and connect. Peggy, I'm so glad you'll be there. That's awesome. Hi, Emily. Adam, you're going to be there too. Oh, how nice. I'm really happy to be able to see you guys and give you a hug in real life, or as the kids say, IRL. I'm so not savvy to all of the text and teenage speak. So yeah, someday maybe. I still don't understand what this like 6-7 means, because I looked it up, and 6-7, I'm told, has no definition. So what's the point of 6-7 then, if it has no definition? I don't know. And some of you probably don't even have a clue as to what I'm talking about. So I'll just leave it there. So the discount code that Diego had put up, if you guys have not yet gotten your tickets or your passes, you can use that code for a discount, and that'll help a little bit with the financial side of things. So feel free to use that code and LTT10 when you sign up and when you register for the event, and that'll give you a discount. And I really, honestly, sincerely cannot wait to see you there. And we should have a good amount of time to be able to chat and catch up in between things. And at least that's my hope and plan, to be able to have some free time where I'm able to just kind of be around and see people and hang a little bit, maybe grab some coffee, have a little coffee talk. Yeah, I'd love to see you there. International Christian Film and Music Festival. I believe Cindy Bond's going to be there. She's awesome. Always great. Cindy Bond is producer of I Can Only Imagine and I Can Only Imagine 2 and many other films. Wonderful heart for the Lord and really talented producer. So she will be there as well. I know there's many others that have a lot to contribute and a lot that we all, including myself, can glean from and benefit from their wisdom and experiences. So hopefully I will see you there. Let's see. Jenny, I always aim for one take when I tape an audition, but if necessary, is it okay to edit parts together? That's a really good question, Jenny. That came up actually in one of my coachings recently. Someone had done several takes of the scene, edited them together in one video as their scene that they presented for the audition. And that is actually not a good idea. So ideally, we want it in one take. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it can be very distracting when there's a cut in the middle of the scene anyway, because it's not like in an actual movie where you can cut away to someone else's POV or to some insert shot of, hands fiddling with glasses to take away from the fact that you're editing two pieces together. When it's just a straight cut to cut, it causes us concern, those of us watching it. And what we say to ourselves is, why were they not able to do one full take? Because that concerns us, that if when we are filming, you are not able to do one full take. So if you're doing a self-tape where you have the control over your environment, you have the control over, which take you submit, we expect it to be one full take. If it isn't, that will concern us, that maybe you have trouble doing one consistent take, or there's some sort of an issue that could be problematic on set. So I would tell you to do one take. I'd rather this person that I was coaching with was trying to take, I liked the beginning of this take and I liked the middle of this take, and then I liked the end of this take, and they were putting them together. The problem is our brain sees that and doesn't see it as a fluid piece. It's a cheat, basically, is how we view it. So rather than getting points for each of these pieces that seem strong, we're saying to ourselves, to get to that end result, they kind of had to cheat a little bit by cutting it rather than being able to accomplish one full take that is fluid. So I would tell you, do not edit parts together. That will not be beneficial to you. Let's see, Brent, how much of a threat is AI to our business, and is there a way to coexist with AI generated media? Absolutely. And I think it's a threat to certain aspects of our business. Animation, I think that's going to be more challenging because they can synthesize voices, animation voices, so like voiceover artists, things like that. Commercially, I think AI is probably going to be a bigger hit than theatrically, as far as like TV film. Any of the like short form content, because I really do firmly believe, and I've had others say the same thing, which is I can feel a falseness the longer that I watch a piece that is AI or even AI enhanced. You don't necessarily notice it at first, but you sometimes spend a few minutes kind of going, is that AI? Or is that a real person? And then you watch it. So first of all, you're not getting engaged in the story. And then second of all, the more you watch it, the more you can see the AI quality in it. And so to watch that for a full movie or a full TV show, something that's supposed to be emulating a regular narrative, live action narrative piece, especially anything character driven, AI just, in my opinion, won't replace that, because the human condition, the human spontaneity, the human interaction, and being able to respond in the moment to what is being given in the scene and what is happening in the scene organically is something that only humans can do. But that means as actors, you guys need to be grounded and engaged in the scenes and listening and responding and fluid to a certain point, because that is what separates you from AI. So while I think there are some areas that will see a greater hit as AI gets even better and better, I do think there's a certain section that it just will never fully replace. So that's my feeling. Emily, how important are nominations and award wins on our resumes? Do casting directors really care about that, or do they only look at demo reel and headshot? I mean, it's nice to see that. When I'm looking at your resume, if it's listed on your resume, then I typically will take note of that. And when you're looking at people side by side and you're trying to decide like who you're going to ask to audition, or maybe making some decisions, and you're comparing apples to apples, that someone's work was acknowledged and lauded and awarded can be a nice kind of boost to the perception of that person. Will it alone overcome like a bad headshot or bad reel or not great work? No, but it can enhance the perception of maybe how professional you are, or how serious you are, how skilled you are. But it will always be the headshot and demo reel and resume that will be most important. So I think it's great. I think you can certainly use that, just like people who are nominated for Academy Awards. In everything you ever see them promoted in, or their name in print, it's always Academy Award nominee. Now, obviously, that's a prestige award situation, but you can now, if you win an award like that, you can forever call yourself an award-winning actress or an award-winning producer. And there's a nice little ring to that. Not gonna lie. It's like I said, it doesn't overcome if other things aren't great, but it can be a little extra shine on the apple that makes it more appealing. So, let's see. Hi, Caitlin. Good to see you. And hi, Katie. Good to see you as well. And Brad, Angela, Christopher. Really good to see you guys. Yeah, so it's like other things that we've talked about, which are the icing on the cake. And I think award nominations are that. They're icing on the cake. It does say that a group of people saw your work and not only nominated your work, but if you then went on to win that award, then absolutely, you are now an award-winning actress. And you can always put that in your bios, in your resume. Yeah, own that. Absolutely. Let's see. Hi, Jewel. CW, someone wrote gullible in the chat. I was saying yes, I am gullible, but we established that because this is April Fool's Eve, tomorrow is April Fool's, that on April Fool's Eve, you have to tell the truth. Everything has to be the truth. So no one trying to pull a fast one on me in the comments that I fall for, and then I go on and on about something that isn't even true. April Fool's is, I'm not someone who loves practical jokes or pranks overall. I've always been uncomfortable with them, and I don't really know why. I don't like the idea if someone, sometimes some of those shows, I feel like the laugh comes from making someone else look stupid or awkward or something. You're laughing at their expense. But then I have to remind myself, any show you see on TV, if some innocent bystander that got in the middle of a practical joke, if we see their video on some show, they signed a release allowing it to be used. So they must not be too upset by it. So therefore I shouldn't be. But I've just been one of those people who doesn't do well with practical jokes. And I'm the one who they'd come to me and say, okay, we're going to play this practical joke on Joe over there. And I'd be the one that goes to Joe and says, Joe, let me give you the inside scoop. They're about to try to prank you. So I'm the spoiler. I know, party pooper. CW, tragedy is when it happens to me. Comedy is when it happens to someone else. That's perfect. I love that. That's great. Okay, if you guys have any other, see, Emily, I don't either. I don't either. Yeah, if someone's in on it, then that's fine. But when they're not, I just get really uncomfortable. So, Peggy, preparing for awkward laughs. I'm going to be doing live skits from the Carol Burnett show. Okay, where are you going to be doing these live skits? Are you really going to? That is an April Fool's, right? You really are, right? Now I don't know. I think I just have to skip the day before April Fool's, and then even like the day after, and then I'm good to go. No, but really, Peggy, are you going to be doing Carol Burnett skits? And if so, where are you doing them? That sounds super fun. I like that. Betty. Hi. I know a lot is still uncertain with the Warner Brothers Paramount merger, but any advice for actors trying to navigate the new landscape while things are in flux? It's the same advice that I tell actors, I tell myself, anybody who's, trying to just keep working and keep the ball rolling forward and keep walking through the doors that open, which is to just keep going. Don't let those things dictate your outlook or your energy. Just keep moving forward. So if that moving forward is you have an audition and you get to audition and do a self-tape and turn that in, awesome. If that moving forward is I'm going to finally read that book, Larry Moss, Intent to Live. Here I have. This is a very good book, but I haven't read it all the way through. So this is one of my, one of these days I have to finish reading this book. But that's moving the ball forward. Something like that is moving the ball forward in the lull, because not only do you come after you read a book or you do the research or you watch a master class or you take a class, on the other side of whatever you choose to do during that window, you are a more educated, a better craftsperson because you did whatever it was you did. So yes, maybe it wasn't, you didn't have 5 auditions to do, but don't let that dictate how you pursue the business and pursue the craft. There is so much you can do during these kind of quote unquote lulls that keeps the muscles going and keeps the brain going and challenges you and keeps everything loose and flexible. And many of those things don't cost money, because I know the kind of the catch-22 of a lull is, great, I finally have time to take a class, but I don't have money to take a class because there's a lull. I get that. It's hard. But there are plenty of things you can do that don't cost money, that still move you forward, move the ball forward, help you as an individual or give you insight. There's a million things on the web that you can be watching and doing and learning from, and interviews, and not just interviews with actors, but interviews with people who are like life coaches, or understanding how to handle when things are slower, a lull. What have other people used to cope during those times? Because it's not just our industry that experiences the ebbs and flows of business. There's many of them that have that same kind of cyclical sort of work life. And there are things that we can learn from a lot of different people, that, or at least expose ourselves to it and kind of take from them pieces from here and pieces from there. So I don't want the lull to be, and again, I am speaking to myself as well. I am telling myself the same thing. The lull doesn't dictate how hard I work or the work I put in. It's my job, whether I have a casting session that day or auditions to look at that day, it's still my job. So there's always plenty of things that I can be doing that keep me going forward. And so I would say the same for you. And try to connect with community, because sometimes when things are a little slow, it's probably not just slow for you, it would be slow for others as well. And so oftentimes just being able to chat with someone, do a Zoom with someone, and kind of be able to just express any frustration, or kind of just say out loud the things you're thinking, and be able to talk with someone who understands what you're saying and how you're feeling, can be refreshing as well. So focus on community. So many times we don't, and again, talking about myself, so many times we don't, it's like, oh, I really would love to catch up with you, but I've been so busy. Oh, we should Zoom really quick. Oh, we've just been so busy. Well, right now, when you're not so busy, then take the time to do those things because they feed your soul. Community, friendship, chatting, connecting with people feeds your soul, feeds you as a human, feeds your heart, and encourages you. And that just folds into who you are as an actor, and just being a well-rounded, interesting, layered human being. So that's what I would say. Let's see. Hi, Tara. Let's see. Katie, typically how quickly do you send out callbacks after audition deadlines, or is it different? Yeah, every project is different. Sometimes if we're moving fast, it'll be really quick. Other times, like right now, I'm reading for a role that I've been working on it probably a month and we still haven't had callbacks. So it just varies. Usually it would be, I'd say, within 2 or 3 weeks, usually, but it could be much faster. Sometimes we got to turn on something real fast, or maybe a role just opened up and we got to fill it quickly. So it could be very, very fast, but I'd say typically maybe a 2-week for me, because in the film world, TV world, independent TV world is not as fast as like the studio episodic where they're just cranking, going. In that kind of a pacing, it's fast. Turn it in, callbacks, it's quick because they're shooting. They got to fill all these roles for each episode. And each episode's only like 8 days, and then they move on to the next, So every 8 days, those casting directors have new roles they've got to keep filling for the full season. So pacing can be very different depending on the project and depending on the office, how many projects they're working on, and how they need to fit everything in. So because first round auditions are generally self-taped. So we have a lot more flexibility as to when we're watching those tapes, and I can watch them after kind of typical business hours. But callbacks are usually in person or via Zoom, in which case we have to schedule them in the prime part of the day. And so the structure is a little bit different there, but I would say an average of maybe 2-ish weeks. But it definitely could be less. And in the case of what I'm working on now, it's been longer, although that's just a couple of the lead roles. When we get to some of the supporting roles, it'll go much faster. These lead roles happen to be very difficult roles to cast. What we're looking for is very, very specific. So we're looking at a lot of people before we go to the callback phase. Others may not be as complicated, so it'll go faster. Let's see. Hi, Tara. Hi, Sippy. Peggy, so you're doing that Texas Lutheran University, a student production. I love it. Peggy, that will be so fun, and I can totally see you doing it. Oh, that'll be super fun. If they happen to tape it, you'll have to share a couple. I'd love to see that. Let's see. Rod, lots of filming in my city. Tracker and The Last of Us season 3, a few blocks from me. Shogun season 2, not too far away. Exciting to see so many productions. So remind me, Rod, what city you're in? I think you told me, but are you in California? Remind me, or remind us. Let's see. Sippy, it's an amazing book. The parts I read are great. We're talking about The Intent to Live, and someone else just recently told me about it again and said, have you read it? And they were talking about how much they love this book. So yeah, find books. I've had this one for years. Find those things in the lull, take the time to read them. Then it's not a lull, it's actually productive time. Rod, love Carol Burnett. Tim Conway was a brilliant comedic. He absolutely was. I had the joy of working with Don Knotts and Tim Conway in an animated series that I did. Hold on a second. Hold, please. Okay. Okay. This hangs on the wall of my office, a little memorabilia. But I did a series called Hermie and Friends. And as you see, it was Hermie and Wormy. They were caterpillars. And you can see, over here, that's Tim Conway's character, Hermie. And below him was Don Knotts' character, Wormy. And the producers sent this to me in commemorating 2.5 million units sold, which was awesome. This was many years ago, 10, 12, maybe probably 15 years ago, maybe even longer. But I cherished this. Working with him was an absolute like what a joy, watching him in the booth and Don, good people. And the whole reason that Tim agreed to do that series was for his grandkids. He just was at a point in life where he just wanted to be doing things that his grandkids could watch and enjoy, and kind of leaving a piece of himself for them. So it was really wonderful. I loved working on that project. Carter, Tina Gallo has had us in the Intent to Live regularly over the years in her classes. There you go. Of course, Tina, because Tina's awesome. Tina is awesome. I saw Tina is opening up another group session of classes, or maybe a workshop. If you guys are looking for an opportunity to take a great class, you can look up Tina Gallo, GALLO.com, and see what she's up to as far as class. She does in person in the Nashville area, but then also virtual as well. Let's see, Jared. Hi, Jared. Good to see you. What have you seen in the ebbs and flows of the industry in your time as a CD? Well, in my whole time, which is going on 32 years, I've seen it all. I've seen it all. You know, we've seen the strikes, and we've seen the boom times. And in my career, I got to see basically the creation of this, what is now a specific kind of space, faith-based or inspirational, faith, family friendly, whatever you want to call it. I've seen that come into fruition and come into existence through the course of my career. And that's been really exciting. It's great to see the stories that we're telling have impact. It's great to see the actors that are embracing those stories and are willing to come alongside and help tell those stories, even if it's not their personal belief system. But I think there's a respect for and a longing for meaning, and doing projects that have meaning. And so that's been really thrilling for sure. Let's see. Chase. Hello, Chase. Do you think acting for auditioning versus acting on set are different skill sets? If yes and no, how so? Yes and no. So when you're auditioning, there is a purity to the audition process, meaning you don't have a crew full of people watching you. You're not on the clock trying like, okay, we have 2 takes before we have to break for lunch. You don't have like your tape marks on the ground that you have to walk in. And I mean, there's a little, you get to set up your audition space. You get to set up what that looks like and feels like, and what you use in that. So you have a little more control over those things, some of the technical things, which allow you, my hope would be that allows you to be more free and more relaxed and more in the moment, because you don't have all those other technical things around you that could be potential distractions. And so it's, I think, you have a lot of control. And so hopefully that allows you to be free and do your best work. On set, this is the part that just comes with experience, which is, if you're a newer actor and you get on set, those technical things can be very difficult at first to kind of tune out, so that you can get to that place where you're fully immersed in the moment, you're fully present, able to listen to your other cast members, the people you're in the scenes with. But that's where you've got to really learn to, you have to take in the technical, meaning you have to know where your mark is. You have to know how to get to your mark each and every time. You have to understand like where the mic is and all of that. So those rehearsal times where you're learning all those technical parts, you have to be able to absorb that quickly and incorporate it, and then allow yourself to almost release it, like understand it, get it, strategize for it, and then release it, and then allow yourself to be just present in the scene. The other big difference between audition acting and on-set acting is, in audition acting, you are working opposite either a reader that you are working with, or that or you've picked out, or you're doing an audio tape that you've pre-recorded, something where there's not as many unknowns as to what you're going to be getting from the scene partner when you audition. That is not the case when you are on set. You honestly never fully know exactly what you'll be getting from your scene partners each and every take. And it varies by actor. Some actors are by the book. They're going to be the same each time. They're very consistent. Other actors don't want to do 2 takes the same. And so you on set have to be flexible enough. That's why I always say improv is such good training, because improv is not just about learning to be funny. It's not just improv comedy. It's learning to listen and respond accordingly, to respond appropriately. It's learning to be fully present in the moment, taking in the stimulus that you're getting from the environment, from the other actors, and letting that color how you respond. So if one take you're working with an actor and he or she, does the scene and screams at you, if it's an argument scene and they're screaming at you, how you respond would be one way. And then the very next take, they could decide to come in and be really quiet, still intense, but very quiet. Well, you're not going to yell back at them if that's what they just gave you. So you then have to take that, what they've given you, and respond accordingly and appropriately based on what they just gave you. So when you're on set, you have to be flexible enough to go with what happens in the moment, in the scene with your other scene partners as it happens. So that's why we always talk about preparation, making decisions, understanding who your character is, understanding, okay, what is this moment? What's the purpose of this scene? How do I feel about this character that I'm in the scene with? Why am I here? What do I need to accomplish? What are the stakes if I don't accomplish it? Like, all of that is important prep work. You make those decisions so that you have that as the foundation of your character. But when you are actually in the scene on camera filming, those all are the base of your character, the foundation of your character. But you also remain very receptive and very open to what you're being given by the other people in the scene. Those things won't change your foundation, but they may bring out a different element of your character layers that maybe you weren't thinking would be strong in that scene, and yet someone played it in such a way that you found, oh my gosh, this I don't know, you could say my character has a tremendous sense of justice, and justice and injustice is, really a big deal to them. And you have a character that plays something, and you've said, okay, that's a part of who I am. You go into a scene and not really thinking that's going to be a huge factor in the scene, but you may be with an actor who delivers the scene or the dialogue in a way that it just touches that nerve of your character, that injustice nerve of your character, and you just find yourself kind of rising up to it or rebelling against it or having a reaction to it because you've already done the work and you've established that foundation for this character and who they are, but you also stay present in a way that you take in what the other actors are giving you. You're processing it through the lens of this character who you know really well because you did your prep work. So you have to do all the prep work, and then you kind of have to let it be the foundation and let it go, and then exist in the scene organically and in the moment, present with the other people in the scene, and let that just go where it goes. So that isn't the case in the auditioning, right? You have far more control over those things, unless it's a live audition, a live in-person audition or something where I have the reader and I can control what the reader gives you, then you do have to be on your toes a little more. But when you're using a pre-recorded track or someone that's a friend of yours and you kind of know how they're going to read it each time, and you can even kind of tell them what you want, then you don't need to have that fluidity as much, but you absolutely have to have it on set. Lori, yes, we have to be intentional about friendship. I agree with you. And that's something I have to freely admit. It's a weakness of mine. I allow myself to get busy and to let other things cloud that. And when I see people, it's like, oh, we need to catch up. And I mean it with all of my heart when I say it. And then I allow myself to get clouded by other things, when probably the thing that would feed my soul the most and the thing that God really wants to bless me with is 15 minutes with a great friend, even if it's via Zoom. So I'm trying to be better about listening to that prompting. Let's see. John has an audition popping right back on. I love that. That's great. Okay. Remy, how should a person attempt to self-tape if they don't have a reader or someone to help them read the lines back? Like reading from a script for an EcoCast or yeah. So there's a couple of different ways, Remy. There are programs that will, and any of you guys, actors in here that know specifically about some of these programs and some of these reader assist type resources, please put them in the comments for Remy. But there are programs where you can tape yourself. You can tape the other side of the conversation. That means you have to kind of time out a little bit your delivery so that it flows the way. So it might take a few takes for you to kind of get that recording, that back and forth, to feel natural. But you can record yourself. You can go on to something like Christian Casting Community, the Facebook page, or any of the other actor community pages and say, hey, I have an audition. I need a reader sometime this afternoon between these hours. Anyone available? And someone could do it for you via Zoom. So if you're using your phone to tape, then maybe Zoom in via your laptop or desktop, or vice versa. If you have a different camera and your phone is free, then they could call you on your phone and be the voice off camera. So there are ways that you can overcome that are very common, because now everybody's self-taping. So there are resources for you. Hi, Brooklyn. Jared, what are your thoughts or observations on verticals? It's blowing up everywhere. And I know even in the faith family space it's growing and growing. And I know a couple of different producers who are specifically looking to go into that space and to be producing content for that space. So I think it's only going to grow. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit of a telling sign as to the attention spans of the younger audience, because verticals are mostly marketed to and created for the younger audiences, younger as in teenage, young adult, and then even younger into kids. We all know little kids, toddlers, little kids have short attention spans, but I think we've created an environment, or technology has created an environment where everything's so fast and so you get what you want on demand, it's quick, that verticals feed that. Like, okay, I have 4 minutes and I'm going to watch this in 4 minutes and get some plot point. And that whole idea of binge watching, where you'll just sit there and watch one after another. It feeds that satisfaction. So they're absolutely here to stay. SAG is going to definitely get in on that. They're already getting in on that as far as putting in parameters as far as the union is concerned, because verticals have been kind of the Wild West so far, but they're going to end up being unionized. They're going to end up being SAG, which means there will be SAG union vertical productions, and then like everything else, there will be non-union productions as well. Just like in film and TV, there's union films and non-union films. But once they unionize and once they have union parameters for verticals, it will affect even the non-union world. Because right now it really is like, hey, come do this for really cheap. And we're doing 20 pages a day, 30 pages a day. It's incredibly hard work. If you're an actor who can work at that pace, it's going to be great for you. But I do think it's going to get a lot more structured and a lot more parameters in place. And but it's definitely growing, and in the faith, family, inspirational world as well. Let's see. Larry Moss, Intent to Live, highly recommend. So much great information. He actually gave 2 hours to us in our class. Oh, nice. That'd be very cool. Brooklyn, loved your article. Oh, thank you. I had the best time sitting down with that with that interviewer. His name is Neil Turlitz, and he asked really interesting questions, and he had done his homework, and he really approached the subject of the faith space, of the kind of faith, family, inspirational space with such respect and validity, and treated it as legit as anything else. And it is, we all know that, but that isn't always shared by everyone in the industry, certainly in journalism. But he was wonderful. He was great. So I really enjoyed that. So Brooklyn, thank you. Yeah. And he ended up writing a really nice piece. And so I emailed it to say, great article. And I thought, well, that sounds bad because he was nice to me in the article. So that's why I'm saying it's great. If he wasn't nice to me, would I still think it's great? Who knows? But he was nice to me in the article. And so I was very happy, mostly just because he was a really, really nice guy, good guy, fair, smart, all of that. Let's see. Tara, my feature film will be shooting in Texas, hopefully later this year, early. Tara, that's awesome. Anything shooting, anything getting going, that is incredible. Oh, Rod, you're in Maple Ridge, British BCCA, British Columbia? No. What's BCCA? I don't know. Am I crazy? What's BCCA? Okay. Brooklyn, what do you think of Nashville film market? I know projects have been coming to Nashville a week away. Karen Kingsbury. Nashville is definitely great. There's a lot of filmmakers going to Nashville, and especially in the kind of family, inspirational storytelling, faith, which is natural because it's also the heart of country music, Christian music, has a long time been in the Nashville, Tennessee area. So it's a natural marriage, I think. So filmmakers like working in their own backyard, and as long as Tennessee can offer some competitive incentives, then I think it will continue to grow. Because the filmmakers there, and they want to make, and it's beautiful. I mean, there's so many great places to shoot in that area. So let's see. Yeah, even looks like them. Yeah, Hermie and Wormy. Isn't that fun? What a joy that was. Yeah, so we ended up with Tim Conway, Don Knotts, Vicki Lawrence, another Carol Burnett alumni, John O'Hurley, who's fantastic. Some people know him from Seinfeld as Peterman, Elaine's boss at the outdoor clothing company. Who else did we have? We had several really, really great people. That was such a fun season of life. We all have seasons, right, that we can look back and just think, what a special time that was. And I'm trying more now to recognize when I'm in one of those special seasons and to acknowledge it and absorb it, so that I'm not always looking back at them and saying, oh, that was special, but that I'm understanding right in the here and now, this is special. Because, yeah, I've been fortunate to have some really special seasons throughout my 32 years. Yeah, I'm so grateful that God saw fit for me to be able to do this long. And it's only because God opened those doors, and that was the path that God had me on. I'm not anything special or unique. God just equipped me and gave me an opportunity and opened doors. And I'm just forever grateful for that. Let's see, Leah, I have a question about acting methods. My daughter is 11, very talented, but she doesn't have any training. Does she need to have classes on different acting methods at this age? I hear people talk about different methods, but I don't know what they are. At 11, if it's something that she is really, if she's really thriving in and really loving, and you can see there's real talent and spark there, then taking classes is great, even at 11. Now, it may be a little young to get into the quote unquote method classes, but craft classes and the understanding of creating a character. And at that age, it's a lot about kind of awareness and um, learning how to deal with like stress or nerves, and just understanding yourself better as a young actor. So I think there's a lot that young actors can benefit from. You just want to make sure that they're in a class that challenges them at the right level. So oftentimes I've seen young actors who are actually quite advanced in their skill level. Either they were just naturally born with it, or they've had a lot of experience that has kind of made them ahead of others at their age group. And to those, I tell them, get in a class with people older and more advanced than that student is, because otherwise, being the head of the class when everybody's being sort of taught things that you've already moved past can actually be quite detrimental, meaning it can build bad habits sometimes. And it doesn't allow a talented young actor to grow. They kind of stay in this youthful kiddie acting world if that's all they know. But if they can get into an environment where they're challenged, maybe beyond what their years would say, that can be great for them. So it's all individual, but classes, the structure of classes. Also, that's another thing. If you have a young performer and I want to be an actor, I want to be an actor. Great. Well, put them in classes and see if they're going to do the work, and they're going to whine about having to go to class, or whine about, oh, I don't want to study that script. Well, then they don't really want to be an actor. So it also can be very telling just for how seriously they want to pursue it, and how much they're enjoying it, and how much work they're willing to put into it. Okay, you guys, I am going to sign off because we're almost at the 1 hour mark. So there are a couple. Okay, British Columbia. Thanks, Rod. Yeah, British Columbia, there's a lot going on. In fact, I helped on with a couple roles on a film filming in Vancouver right now called Home. The film's called Home. And it is filming in Vancouver. So yeah, there's a lot happening up in Canada as well. Okay. Should the readers act in character or just say the lines? I prefer the readers give you something, but not overshadow you. They are there to give you what you need, but not to, they should never change, or you don't adapt. Yes, you adapt to them because you're always adapting to the stimulus you're being given. But what I mean is, they shouldn't decide, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this, and then you're left having to change what the approach you were going to take because they did something different. But yes, being in character, giving you something to play off of, I think is very effective, and that would be the preference. So, okay, I'm going to go. You guys, I love you. We made it through our truth-telling night of April Fool's Eve. And tomorrow I'm going to stay away from social media because I'm not going to believe anything that I read or any of my friends post. So I'll be back looking and reading posts on the 2nd. Tomorrow I'll just skip. Love you guys. So glad you're here. Remember ICFF, the 28th of April through 2nd of May, discount code LTT10 for 10% off. And I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.